Welcome, everyone. I'm Sue Barber, author, former IT director for a Fortune 500 company, turned executive coach, and this is the Visibility Factor podcast, where we explore how to raise your visibility and play bigger at work and in life. We'll explore key topics and welcome guests that help you shift your thinking about yourself so you can see new possibilities for your leadership. I'm on a mission to create a visibility movement for leaders to show their value and be seen for their true talent. Are you ready to take the next step towards a higher level of visibility for yourself? Let's go. Today's episode of the Visibility Factor podcast is brought to you by Amplify You, the ultimate program designed to unleash your full potential and amplify your success. Imagine having a personal coach cheering you on, guiding you through a journey of self-discovery, and helping you break free from those limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. That's exactly what Amplify You is all about. Whether you're a leader now or aspiring to be one, this program is your ticket to a more confident, empowered you. It's like having a supportive friend in your corner, encouraging you to dream big. It's about having the career success that you want and creating a life you truly deserve. Amplify You offers a unique experience to help you build the confidence to tackle any challenge life throws your way. If you're interested in learning more about the program, please visit susanmbarber.com and click on the menu item Programs. Are you ready to transform your life and your career? Let's make it happen. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Visibility Factor podcast. This is Sue Barber, your host. Today, we're going to be focused on how relationships can make a difference for you as a leader and being known by others. Having strong relationships are beneficial in so many ways, but I don't think that people always think of their relationships in the way that they should. Having these connections and relationships to lean on is an asset for your professional network and reputation, and you need that more than you realize. You can't do it all by yourself, and the higher you go, the more important the relationships become. Do you have people that you can depend on, leverage when needed, learn from, and also provide support to them? Relationships are something that you shouldn't take for granted, but nurture instead. I'm going to be going through many ways to think about these relationships and how I have seen them benefit me and my career. My hope is that it will inspire you to focus on your own relationships in your career. As I share my own experiences, think of any new ways that you can expand your own and how that could benefit both you and the people that you're connected to. Now, let me say a few things before we start this list. This is a list of practical ways to think about relationships, what to do to expand them, and of course, there will always be an element of visibility and adding value as well. Now, if you're someone who struggles to build relationships, you are not alone. When I coach my clients on meeting with people more regularly, they have a list of reasons why they can't do that. Their resistance can be pretty high and include some of the following. I don't know what to say. They don't have time for me. They are much higher in the organization than I am, and they would never want to talk to me. Now, I'm extremely familiar with all of these excuses, I'm going to call them, because I use them myself, every single one of them. When you don't have the confidence and trust in your value, you need to stay safe, and those excuses or stories you tell yourself will help you avoid the conversations. However, they also prevent people from knowing you and how amazing you are. So I'm going to give you some ideas of things to say to remove that obstacle. Know that if you go into any conversation from a perspective of adding value, people will want to meet with you, and you won't start at the highest levels in the organization to meet with them. You're going to work your way up and practice first with people who are closer to your level. So see if this can work for you. Will you be open to experimenting and trying it? You have to decide based on the outcomes for your career whether you're going to prioritize this into your weekly focus. I understand that you're busy, but this isn't a nice to have. This is a game changer that will help you. Be open to it and see what the results are for you. It's going to shift your perception in the organization and help you be seen in a much bigger way. So let's go through the list. The first one, make connections. Learn about people's work, their teams, who they are, their career path. Share what you do and ask them if they have anyone else that you should meet with in the organization. Having these connections in place to lean on when you need them can help you immensely. They help you get things done. There are times where you may need to leverage a leader in another team to remove a barrier or to help move their team along to get things done when you have exhausted all of your conversations with them. Sometimes they can also play an influencing role for you with their team or their peers to help you. You can also collaborate to solve problems or brainstorm ideas to improve things. In my case, I definitely saw where my relationships helped me build the path for future roles. So many of the relationships that I built throughout my career helped me move into future roles. I showed up as my best self and showed what I could do in different situations. I paid attention and had conversations with them about their work. I got things done and helped them. They spoke highly of me to others and shared my potential when new roles were available. Who needs to know you and your work? Who might be in a position to help you in the future? You need to think about that so that you are building a relationship with those people. The next one is business and functional. Now, I'm going to use IT as my function where I worked, but you insert your function. Think about who is influential in your own function. People who have connections with projects or work that you or your team do are the people that you want to make sure that you're connected to. So if there's an issue, you can reach out to them, they can reach out to you before it escalates. Meet with your clients regularly. Get to know them as people, not just from a work perspective. What other challenges are they facing? Is there additional value that your organization could provide to them? What are their plans for the future? And do you have things that your function could help them with? Or maybe you're already working on or need to build. From a learning information standpoint, these networks of relationships that you have are vital. You always have a formal network, which is where information comes from the top down. So CEO down the path to you eventually. But this is your informal network, and this is how you learn information. You're going to learn information that helps you understand what's happening in the organization, what they know. And I always thought of it as a puzzle. So I would get different jigsaw puzzle pieces that I would start to put together and figure out maybe a change that was happening or a shift in the organization that was coming. You can increase your knowledge about new projects, changes in the organization, or people changes. These conversations help you to fill the gaps in so that you can gain a fuller picture of what's happening. So many times when we were going through an acquisition or divestiture or something else was happening, I leveraged my informal network for sure because every one of us heard different information. We need to figure out what was real, what wasn't real, what we need to be prepared for, what we need to prepare our team for. And so that informal network was really important to make sure that I had that in place and found ways to connect with them on a regular basis. You can also use relationships to understand the politics. So, who supports who doesn't get along with who influences someone else, or is really the behind the scenes decision maker to a figurehead. There's always a person who might appear to be the decision maker, but really someone else is whispering in their ear and telling them what they think that they should do. You have to pay attention to meeting dynamics and how people support each other publicly or not. Who's having lunch with someone that seems interesting and may mean a change is coming too. All of this is information that helps you know how to navigate the relationships and conversations that you're having. So, for example, we used to have a person in our organization in IT who didn't necessarily always get along with the person on the business side. And it was very open, very well known. And so when we would have to get things done between the two organizations, we would have to really navigate where the conversations were at that moment. Were they getting along? Were they not getting along? And how could we make sure that we could move our agenda forward? So those are things that are important to pay attention to because you might have to navigate that because of situations like that. Understand the business. What are the business challenges and needs? What is their plan and how do they plan to get there? What would be helpful for you to know for your own business? And this one, I also throw in some things around financials, understanding the financials, what capital and expense are in the different organizations, how things are moving forward, where they have money, where they don't have money. Those things all impact decisions. So you might hear people talk about, I want to move to this part of the organization because it's growing versus a part of the organization that's more stable and stagnant. They aren't really growing, they're just maintaining. So that's some of the things that you need to pay attention to because it might impact where you might want to go next. Adding and showing value to any relationships that you have with people. Be intentional and think about what would benefit the person you are meeting with. What help do they need? What is important to them? Does someone on their team need help? How can you share more about you, your background, and your team to show the value that you bring? And sometimes that isn't what you necessarily think about, right? You might not plan those things out before you go in and meet with them to talk with them. But I would ask you to have some intention behind it. Try to spend some time thinking about that so you come across in the best way. The next one is manage up. So build a relationship with your boss. They need to know you, what you're working on, about your team, where you need them to help you when nothing else has worked. They can also make connections for you to help you get more exposure and be involved in new things. Bring clarity to the conversations so that they can help you the most with whatever it is you need. Share where you want to go next in your career or what you may want to get involved in so you can build new skills or experience something new. No one can help you if you're not clear for yourself, and they don't want to necessarily say, you should go do this. Well, some might, but in your situation, you have to do what's right for you. But you can't get any help from them if you're not clear for yourself about what you might want to do. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a role defined, but you might say, I want to take a role where I can lead a team or lead a bigger project or do something transformational. You can give them some clues as to what you'd like to be involved in and where you can leverage your skills or build new ones. Leverage influencers and decision makers. Whenever someone joins a new organization or moves to a new group, this is one of the first things I talk to them about is find out who the influencers and decision makers are and make friends with them. Because you need to understand how they think, how they make decisions, what they value, what they don't value, because you might at some point have to present a business case to them or talk to them about things, and you need to know how they think. This is true whether you're new to an organization or not. And if you haven't done that or you haven't identified who those people are, then take some time to do that. You need to know them and vice versa to move things along. Gain their input, have alliances with them to move things forward. Watch and learn from them and see what you might learn to adapt into your own style, your own language, your own messaging that helps you be able to do something more influential as well. Gain alignment. So, who needs to be on board with your ideas and what you want to do? If you need to convince a larger group, who are the people you can meet with in advance, get their feedback, and have them aligned when you walk into the room to have this big decision meeting? Leverage them for input and feedback on you, your team, and your work. So, in many situations, I would think about maybe a reorganization that I wanted to do with my team. And I would bring it to someone who was influential and who I knew was very influential to our senior leadership team. And I made sure that I got their feedback because I knew that they had a really good handle on how the leadership team thought and what they would ask me questions about. And so if I can proactively include some of that in the deck before I go present it, makes it go much smoother then, right? So it was good to also know that they were aligned with my plan. Because if they're aligned with my plan, when they're in the room, they will support me in the room and say, I think it's a good idea and here's why. And Sue and I have already talked about it. And, I think we've really ironed out any kind of impacts or issues that might come up. It just helps you move your ideas forward and get approval. Learn feedback. So who are the people that are going to tell you the truth and give you good feedback? Not everybody's good at giving feedback. Not everybody is good at giving critical feedback for sure. And so you have to find the people who will tell you the truth. Just like in the book, when the person told me the truth, it was really hard to hear, but it was definitely the thing I needed to hear. And it helped me change everything. Who are the people that you know who you can trust and know that they will share ideas, suggestions, and insights that will help you do better in your own work and help you show up as a better leader? And then the last one I have is you can find mentors or sponsors through your relationships. Meeting with different people can help you identify a mentor or sponsor that you may want to leverage. If they aren't the right person, they could connect you with someone else who may be a better fit. And just know that you can have multiple mentors depending on what they could teach you. And they also become great advocates for you because they get to know you, they meet with you, they understand what's happening for you in your work. If you ask someone to be your sponsor, I just want to caution you to be ready. You can't say yes and then not follow through. They're giving you all their credibility and putting themselves out there for you and saying that they believe in you to help you accelerate your career. So don't say yes if you're not prepared to be all in. So let's move to the visibility action plan now. After listening to this, I'm hoping it's giving you some ideas. I'm hoping it's helping you think about people in your organization who are influential, decision makers, people that you really need on your side. So make a list of those people that you want or need to have relationships with based on some of the ideas that I've shared here today. What outcomes do you want to have from these relationships with them? Be intentional with it. It may be to learn a skill or learn something about what they did in a situation, but you need to have an outcome prepared. So what could you learn about their area, their career, their projects, their point of view, how they get things done? Those are just some ideas to help you with that moment of, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to ask them. Everybody wants to share a little bit about their career and where they've come from. I just did this for a group yesterday, and it was really insightful, even for me to do and look back on where I've come from and what I've done and what I learned, because you can always look at it with a different perspective. So people love to share that information, especially if it will help someone else grow. Capture some of the topics, resources, projects, connections that you could discuss. Just think about what those things could be and how would you share them in a way that adds value to them. What could you talk about in your work that would be helpful to them, or how could you help them with things that they're working on? So be intentional and think about what you can share on the things that you've done also. Remember, this is about a visibility opportunity for you. So what have you done to add value? What accomplishments and results do you have or has your team had lately? You want to share some of those things so that they can start to see possibilities of where you could do something bigger. So don't be afraid to highlight those things and work them into the conversation. And then you just need to decide, how often do you want to meet with them? Some people you might want to meet with monthly or quarterly. Once you understand that and you have agreement with them that they're excited to meet with you too, schedule them on the calendar. Do that with all the people that you have on your list. So some people might be weekly, biweekly, monthly, quarterly, maybe even just every 6 months or yearly. Whatever that schedule is, get them on the calendar. So for example, I had a mentor that I was going to meet with monthly. I would just schedule those out at the beginning of the year on the calendar, and then I didn't have to think about it anymore. And that's the goal for you, is you don't want to have to think about it. You just want it to be there and ready to go and on your calendar and on their calendar, because sometimes these people are busy. You're not wrong there. And you want to make sure that you have time on their calendar. And if you do it in advance, you have a much better chance of getting to meet with them. So remember, the goal here is to get to know them, and they will in turn get to know you. I know that you can do this, so please don't overthink it. Just treat them like a person and not a title. Get to know them and let go of where they sit on the org chart. Don't put them on a pedestal. See them as somebody who is a person that you can have a conversation with. Think of yourselves as equals, which allows you to be so much more confident. And it's going to create a great conversation and build a stronger relationship for you. So go out there and make this happen. Thanks so much for joining today on the Visibility Factor podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for listening to the Visibility Factor podcast. Remember that visibility starts with small steps that are intentional and consistent each day. Be bold, be visible, be the leader you were meant to be. Find us and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, which are highlighted in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Visibility Factor podcast.